How's it going, guys? And welcome to the showdown between the Dark Elves, led by Malekith the Witch King, and the Tomb Kings, who are going to be led by HYDRA the Imperishable. So let's jump right into this match, guys, and have some fun. So in the front line, I do have a very elite infantry corps. I think in total I do have 4 groups of the Blackguard and Ogrond, and I really feel like they're a strong pick in this matchup. So often you're going to be running into Shopti and Tomb Scorpions, which are very, very popular. I don't know if you guys have faced off against Tomb Scorpions a lot, but one of the things that makes them so tough to deal with is the fact that their attack animations will get them out of surround. So if you have a Tomb Scorpion completely surrounded by halberds and you're really getting a ton of damage, oftentimes the Tomb Scorpion will do that underground attack, come up on the other side, and you can very, very easily push through troops. So having the front line that has charge defense, really good armor piercing values, as well as anti-large is going to be really, really solid in this matchup. So in total, I do have 4 groups, and also while we're on that note, like, you don't really have to respect the Tomb King's infantry too much. You just have to really worry about Ushopti Grapos or Ushopti or Tomb Scorpions and that kind of stuff. So you can really just bring halberds in the front line, and in my opinion, you're not really going to be punished for it. In the secondary line, I decided to get 2 groups of Blackheart Corsairs. Now, intuitively speaking, this might seem a little bit weird. You're like, why would you not bring Dark Shards or armor-piercing missiles? Well, the answer being, I wanted a little bit more of a durable missile line. And these guys, like, if they're able to stay alive and don't have to worry about being eaten by carrion and other threats like that, should be able to apply some decent missile pressure to some of those Ushopti and other large targets. So I do have 2 groups of those. Because I played so many games against Tomb Kings where they just have like skeleton horsemen and just like 3 or 4 groups of carrion just swarming, and oftentimes the Tomb Scorpions can just dig through your front line, they can get on top of your Dark Shards, and things can get really, really, crunk nasty back there. So that's why I'm trying these guys out. Not sure if they're going to work. This is actually a testing game, so Jonton and I were playing. Jonton of Total Brohammer. Make sure to go check him out. So we were just experimenting with some builds and trying different things out, but we have definitely had some good success with the Blackheart Corsairs. So now this is kind of the X factor in the game, the HYDRA. So I do have the War HYDRA, and I was like, hey, it's good armor piercing values. Maybe his breath attacks will be pretty good at like clearing up chaff and other units like that, and he does have regeneration. So if I can stand him on top of some halberds and kind of use him as an anti-Ushopti, not anti-large but anti-armor unit, hopefully it'll do well. I do have 2 groups of Dark Riders, so 1 here, and then I think there was 1 somewhere else on the map. Yes, I did have to pull them back because you can see Jonton was doing a very good job chasing them with the carrion, and I did not want that 2 versus 1 situation. So, but mainly I brought those guys in case he brought Ushopti Great Bows. They're, in my opinion, kind of a must because they can pin them down. If he has the Blessed Legion of Demonetization, you can get him as well, so that's why I brought those guys. Malekith on his Velociraptor, I didn't want to bring him in the air, and I don't recommend it in this matchup because if you're facing off against 3 or 4 Ushopti Great Bows, which you do see sometimes, they can just pick them out of the skies. So for Jonton's army, it's definitely a very tough, like, just aggressive army. Skeleton warriors in the front line, a couple groups of regular Ushopti for the AP, so my halberds are going to be caught up with the chaff. So one of the keys to success in this matchup is killing the chaff units. You really need to kill the skeletons to allow your halberds and your other units to isolate these, monstrous constructs. 2 tomb scorpions. I don't know why that was a tongue twister for me. 2 of those guys, which I said before, anti-infantry, armor piercing, really, really hard to get your paws on them. HYDRA the Imperishable, who does have Thy Will Be Done. He's going to be buffing all these constructs. And let's see what spells Jonton brought. So he does have the Usex Incantation of Desiccation, Nair's Incantation of Protection, and then I think that might be it. So he's probably just going to be spamming those couple abilities, and the Blessed Blade of Patral, I think, yeah, which isn't bad. He does also have another caster, so he has a Necrotect here. So when you're going this construct heavy, you definitely won't. I think it's a good idea to have a Necrotect. He provides some really, really good area of effect buffs, especially against the Dark Elves. So let's go ahead and look. I know the fighting's about to start, so let's actually pause it here for a second. My apologies for the long-winded introduction. I just wanted to give you guys a really good analysis into this build. So the Stone Shaper, 10 armor and missile resist. He can also heal them, and he does have this Elixir of Might. What does that do? So imbues 50% weapon damage. Man, that's pretty heavy duty. I've never seen that one before. And then the Wrath of the Creator, which is going to give 5 melee attack to nearby constructs, which is pretty cool. So without further ado, guys, let's get this show on the road. Let's have some fun. So in the front, Malekith's going to be using the Gaze of Malice. I just wanted to pick off some skeletons. It wasn't the best angling. I kind of had a little bit of an awkward position here. But you can see I'm going to be using my Blackheart Corsairs to shoot the carrion out of the sky, and the HYDRA is going to be breathing some breath attacks, just picking off some skeletons there, which is pretty cool. So in the front, the Ushopti are going to be charging in, getting a little bit headstrong here, coming into these halberds, and I did have a nice little hill position here, but they're still going to get an okay charge, and what he'll probably end up doing is pulling those guys back, and as you can see, he's going to pull them back, and then get the skeletons in, and there goes the Tomb Scorpion. So if I had Dark Shards, it would just be in my back line, and it could go after them. It's like really, really hard to pin those guys down, and honestly, I feel like Cold Moon Knights just aren't the best unit in the game. So I also make the same mistake a little bit. I get my War HYDRA a little bit, kind of wild over here, and I jump on these Ushopti, but look at the damage. It did some pretty good work right out of the gates, so the HYDRA's going to come back and pull back to the main line here. So Blackheart Corsairs in the back line are relatively safe. I'm going to be having to kite back. He does use the Usaf's Incantation here. Usek, is that you saying, I guess? 26 melee attack, 27 melee defense subtraction, and he's really overloading this flank. So you can see Malekith's going to deal with his Velociraptor. I do pop a Soul Stealer, And yeah, it's doing a pretty good job getting through the chaff. I do have some Black Guard over here, but ultimately this flank is just going to get overrun. He has too much stuff. I do pull in some Dark Shards to get a rear charge on Skeleton Warriors, just trying to clear up the chaff units like I said. But the double Tomb Scorpion, the Ushapti, the Khemrian War Sphinx, just all this armor-piercing anti-infantry. Even though my Black Guard are going to be durable against it, especially with that debuff. So very well played by Jonton, lowering their melee defense to just make them get crumpled that much quicker. But on this side, I do have the Hydra, so the Hydra's going to be fighting some of these guys right here, the Ushapti. You can see he actually takes one out, knocks another one into the Shadow Realm. And he's doing a really good job kind of just like holding the pocket right here. So I was definitely, so far, I was happy with the performance of the Hydra. In the meantime, I do have my, I was about to say my blessed Corsairs over here, but my Corsairs are just going to be sitting in the back, and I just have them shooting at Ushapti, and I don't know, I like them. I feel like they're a little bit safe. They don't get picked off, and with 80 armor, they're going to be durable against Carrion, and if they have to fight skeletons, they can. So I do get a chill win there with Malekith, but it looks like, what was that witchcraft over there? It must have been Cetra using that explosion ability. But you can see my forces are starting to crumble a little bit. My Black Ark Corsairs, I was trying to shoot at something I think just over the hill, so they packed into melee, which is a little bit sloppy on my part. But essentially just kind of a tale of two flanks right now. So over here, Jonton is winning this side very heavily. You can see my Black Guard, although they really held for a long time and did some pretty decent damage to his constructs, and you can see Cetra took a little bit of work. That flank is ultimately going to collapse. You still have some Dread Spears, but they're wavering, so it's definitely just going to be this side of the battlefield versus this side over here. So right now the Hydra is getting attacked by Cetra, which is, going to be tough. He does pop the Blessed Blade of Atra, but I do get the regeneration ability with the Hydra. So the Hydra does have something very similar to the Hellpit Abomination. It's another takes his place. So when he drops below 50%, there's a chance he gets a good heal, which was very, very clutch for me there. So I do have my Corsairs in the back who are shooting at these Ushapti, and I'm going to be pulling back the Hydra to stand on top of all these Halberds and different units. You could also see another Soul Stealer is going to be going down for Malekith, kind of pinning those troops. And in the meantime, my Corsairs, unfortunately, got caught up in melee again. I don't know if you guys have had that issue, but sometimes with ranged units, like, instead of just shooting, they'll, like, run in up close. I've had it with handgunners and other things like that. It's so tough. But Jonton doing a very good job using the Carrion in their a role which I think they're very good at, just chasing off, like, somewhat healthy groups. Like, 46 Dread Spears could potentially be, like, very, very strong in the late game. So he's going to be chasing those guys off. I do have my missiles rallying, so the Black Ark Corsairs here and here have pretty good ammunition, but this is really the fight of fight. So the Hydra is going to be fighting here. I do have the Black Guard and Ogron, who are just, fending off these Ushapti and all these other constructs. He still has, I think, two Tomb Scorpions. Does he have both of them left? So he has this one, and let's go ahead and look around a little bit. I think the other one is in pretty good health, so it's looking pretty scary. I mean, he's got two Tomb Scorpions. His Ushapti are crumbling. So the Black Guard did a pretty good job versus them, and this, withering fire from the Black Ark Corsairs really dragging those guys down quite a bit. And the Hydra's actually been a huge performer. So, often I was like, oh, where does the Hydra have a home? And even in this matchup, if they shoot it with the Ushapti Great Bows, it does have their regeneration. So I feel like it might have a bit of a niche in the Tomb Kings matchup. I don't know, it seems solid. Like, it's been taking like huge beatings all game, and if you stand it on top of the Black Guard, you don't really have to worry about it going down in melee. So right here, you can see Cetra is going to run in and use the explosion ability right on top of my Halberds and other troops. But the Hydra is doing a good job. Him and Malekith are just kind of holding down Cetra and doing some pretty decent damage. I do have this group of two of the Black Guard who I use the Power of Darkness on. And the Corsairs are just kind of in position here, just shooting into some of these large constructs. And the Necrotech, I think, is who I was trying to shoot. He only has 35 armor, so he's definitely not a terrible target here. So the Hydra is still taking out those Ushapti. You can see Cetra is going to be getting a charge. Malekith's in good shape. I'm just trying to get him up and out, because I think that Jonton was trying to get the double Tomb Scorpions and goon Malekith, because they potentially can. I mean, almost 400 weapon strength with very, very good AP values, so I really want to be careful with that. So the Hydra I do pull back. I'm trying to get out with Malekith here and just see if I can isolate one of his troops. But the Black Guard are doing a good job. They're holding their own. I got 64 models here. Right here I have 44 models. Darn Tomb Scorpion. Like, it's just animations are so rough. And also the Khemrian War Sphinx getting the Narrows Incantation is going to make it tougher to kill. And right here comes a good chill win from Malekith, just going right down the formation, and also a Case of Malice, so doing a huge chunk of damage to the Skeleton Warriors and the other supporting chaff units. And Ushapti, I've just been focusing all game with these Corsairs, doing my best to bring those guys down, hoping that the Black Guard and my other troops can then take out the constructs. So the Black Guard here, continuing to fight. 48 models, steady, getting some pretty good damage, but you can see Jonton is using the Restore from the Necrotech to heal that guy up. So man, every ounce of healing you get on those things is such a burden. So right now he's going to be trying to goon Malekith right here, so he pulls the Scorpions and the Khemrian War Sphinx, and he does some really good damage. I do pop stand your ground and try and mitigate that, but he uses the Elixir of Light, so it's really cool, giving him a 50% weapon damage, 26 melee attack. So I saw that and I was like, nope, I'm noping out. I got to run. But the Hydra guys coming in, in the fourth quarter, putting up a great fight, and you can see the Tomb Kings are starting to buckle right here. So the Ushapti are just getting whacked around by the heads of the Hydra. There's only 1 or 2 models here with 19 HP, so they should crumble out here. And it's going to be tough. I still have a fair amount of Black Guard, but he has the double Tomb Scorpion. He still has HYDRA the Imperishable. He gets the Blessed Blade, which is going to do fire damage, hence making him a little bit stronger against the HYDRA, who is weak to fire damage. So right now he's using everything he has to focus down the HYDRA. And as he's doing that, I'm focusing him with the Black Guard, and also Malekith the Witch King on his Black Raptor, who has really good armor piercing values. It's going to be attacking him as well. So just trying to snipe out this Necrotech, which is something I should have done earlier, because they're very squishy, but Jonton's done a very good job protecting it with HYDRA, and you can see the Blessed Blade here is just going to be doing all kinds of debuffs on Malekith. So this was just such a close game. You can see the bounce power is just dead even. My HYDRA's getting really low. My Blackheart Corsairs are out of ammunition, so now I'm going to have to run them into melee, and this is kind of what's cool. Like, Dark Shards might have gotten picked off earlier in the game by Carrion or some of the Scorpions in the back line, but these guys, like, even though they're meant for infantry, they have okay combat stats and durability and armor, so they might be able to help out, win this in the fourth quarter. The HYDRA is going to run away. Thankfully, he does regenerate, so you can see his HP is going back up pretty quick, and he can potentially get up to 2,000 or 3,000 HP over the course of this game, so he's able to escape. So HYDRA and the Scorpion are going after the Malekith in this final duel, and you can see the double Scorpions just jumping all over him, just bashing him around. Their attack animations just bullying him, stinging him with their giant metallic pincers. Definitely not fun. And I just have this big blob of just Corsairs. I don't really have too much anti-large left. It's looking really, really scary, but the HYDRA has healed up to 2,200 HP. I think his other ability procced again. Another takes its place. So I think there's like an internal cooldown where it can proc like every couple minutes or whatever. So HYDRA does fall. So Malekith the Witch King is able to take out HYDRA, the apparently perishable. And now we just got to deal with these Tomb Scorpions. So there's 2 of them left in pretty good health. You can see it's going to be doing that cool rolling attack animation. He does have some Carrion coming back. They're probably going to try and take on the HYDRA to keep him from getting back here. But man, the regeneration on this HYDRA has just been clutch all game. And you can see the HYDRA is just going to be manhandling this Necrotech right here and feasting on his soul. Jonton realizing that this is one of the big threats, and Malekith is pretty much almost dead. If he can kill this HYDRA, you can see the bounce of power coming back towards the middle. It could be really, really tough. The Carrion are swarming, kind of chipping at its legs here, but the HYDRA gets a great attack on that Tomb Scorpion, brings it down to 200 HP, and it crumbles and dies to the HYDRA's attacks. And man, this is just such a wild game. The Necrotech still providing the buffs to the Tomb Scorpion, so I really need to get that guy down. And there goes another HYDRA heal. So the HYDRA heals up to 1,600 HP again. Just being so solid, and for the first time in like Total War Warhammer 2, I feel like I can say like the HYDRA was one of the main reasons I was able to survive this long. So Malekith is kind of lurking on the perimeter, but I know he only has 500 HP, so I'm kind of trying to time an alpha strike. So I charge him in there, I get a charge, I have him fully surrounded, and I'm just like, oh man, Malekith, I need you to pull this out, man. I need you to get this. But thankfully, the HYDRA has healed enough that I think it could come back and probably finish off the Scorpion, if not put up a really good fight. So at this point, it's just Malekith and the boys fighting the Scorpion. Malekith gets hit down to 200 HP, the Carrion intercepting the War HYDRA on its way back. But that's it, guys. The HYDRA is able to kill the Carrion, and Malekith and the last contingent of his Corsairs are able to defeat the Tomb King's troops. So man, what an incredibly close battle. That was just super fun. And I really like the Corsairs. Like they can fend off Carrion, and though they're not going to be as effective as Dark Shards would be against armor, they can still apply some pressure. So a bit of dual purpose. You can send them in against chaff and skeletons if you need to, and they'll be great fighters, obviously. So it seemed like a decent situation. The Black Guard held their own. I think if I had been facing off against Ark and the Black, it could have been tougher with Fate of Bune on these guys. But again, HYDRA on the Cambrian War Sphinx was just a monster, just rampaging and doing tons of damage against my troops, collapsing my flank, debuffing. So there's some give and take there. But yeah, it was a fun build, and the HYDRA was really the MVP. I mean, taking out Ushapti, its breath attacks were pretty useful, and then on top of that, it was able to just kind of get those really clutch heals throughout the game. So for Jonton's army, it was tough, and we were talking about trying to theorycraft about how to beat builds like this, and Blackguard I feel like are one element, but the Corsairs plus the War HYDRA I think were really kind of solid. But I think you need to clear out the chaff. Malekith needs to get really good chill winds and gazes of malice and soul stealers to really clear out this fodder, because if you can't clear out the fodder, your Blackguard and your other troops, like even your HYDRA, are going to be wasting so many of their attacks that could potentially go onto armored constructs, on skeletons and things like that. So yeah, it was crazy. So very well played to Jonton of Total Warhammer. Make sure to go check out his channel. I'll definitely be putting a link in the comment section below. And you know what? I think that's about it. So have an excellent night, guys, and take care.